Hey there, story fans. Get ready because I've got a super cool tale for you today. Picture this, it's a bright, sunny afternoon, and a lady named Maya Jackson steps onto flight 217. She's 6 months pregnant, which means her belly is big and round, like a basketball under her shirt. She's proud of it too. She stands tall even though she's tired. But here's the fun part, Maya's smile is hiding something big. A secret. No one on that plane has any idea what's coming. Not even a little guess. She looks normal, just like everyone else, maybe a bit squished in her seat, hoping for a nice, easy trip home. But oh boy, is there more to her story. The plane is busy. People are chatting, seats are full, and the flight attendants are zooming around. They're handing out snacks like pretzels and cookies, and little cups of soda or water. Most of them are smiling and helping, but one flight attendant stands out. Her name is Sarah. She's got sharp eyes that notice everything, and her tongue is even sharper. She says mean things sometimes. To Sarah, Maya is just another person in the crowd. Nothing special, nothing important. Just a lady asking for stuff, like all the others. That's what Sarah thinks, anyway. She has no clue she's about to be so wrong. Before we go on, what do you think Maya's hiding? Drop your guesses below. I'll wait a sec, think about it. Is it something silly? Something wild? Tell me what you imagine. Okay, back to the story. Little did Sarah know, Maya wasn't just going home like a regular passenger. Nope. She was carrying a truth so big, so amazing, it could turn this whole flight upside down. Like flipping a pancake in the air, everything changes fast. But right now, no one knows. Not Sarah, not the other passengers, not even the pilot flying the plane. It's all quiet and normal, for now. Let's zoom in a little. Maya sits down in her seat, number 12B. It's by the window, so she can peek out at the fluffy white clouds. Her belly makes it a bit hard to fit, but she wiggles in and gets comfy. She's got a small bag with her, just a purse with her phone, some gum, and a tiny book to read. She looks tired because, well, being pregnant is hard work. Her feet are a little puffy, and her back hurts from sitting so long. All she wants is a smooth ride home, maybe a nap, and to put her feet up when she gets there. That's it. Simple, right? But things aren't going to stay simple for long. Around her, the plane is buzzing. A kid a few rows up is giggling, playing with a toy car. An old man across the aisle is snoring already, his head tipped back. The lady next to Maya is tapping on her phone, texting someone fast. Everyone's doing their own thing, and the flight attendants are moving quick. They've got carts with drinks and snacks, and they're calling out, water? Juice? Pretzels? Most of them are nice. One guy even makes a little joke about the bumpy clouds ahead. But then there's Sarah. She's different. Sarah's got a frown on her face, like she's mad at the world. Her hair is pulled back tight in a bun, and her uniform is super neat, like she ironed it 3 times. She's fast with her hands, passing out snacks, but her words, oh, they're sharp like a pencil point. When someone asks for an extra napkin, she sighs loud and says, you only get one. When a guy spills his drink by accident, she snaps, watch it, okay. People notice her, but they don't say much. They just take their stuff and look away. Sarah's not here to make friends, she's here to do her job, and that's it. Now, Maya. She's just sitting there, looking out the window. She doesn't bother anyone. She's quiet, maybe even a little shy. Her dark hair is in a loose braid, and she's wearing a comfy blue dress that stretches over her belly. She's got a soft smile, like she's thinking about something happy, maybe her baby, or home, or a yummy dinner waiting for her. But that smile? It's tricky. It's hiding something huge. Something Sarah and everyone else are totally blind to. And that's where the fun starts. See, Sarah looks at Maya and sees nothing special. Just a pregnant lady in seat 12B. Maybe Sarah thinks, oh, she's gonna ask for stuff and slow me down. Maybe she rolls her eyes a tiny bit when she walks by. To her, Maya's not important. Just another face, another ticket, another job to deal with. But Sarah's wrong, super wrong. Maya's not just any passenger. She's got a secret that's like a surprise party waiting to pop out. And when it does, oh man, Sarah's sharp tongue is going to trip over itself. Let's set the scene a bit more. The plane takes off, and it's loud at first, those big engines roaring as it climbs up, up, up into the sky. Maya feels the rumble under her seat, and she holds her belly a little, like she's keeping her baby safe. The clouds outside look like cotton candy, all fluffy and white. The pilot comes on the speaker and says, "Hey folks, we're flying at 30,000 feet now. Should be a smooth ride." Everyone settles in. The kid with the toy car starts zooming it on his tray table. The snoring man snores even louder. The lady next to Maya keeps texting tap, tap, tap. Sarah's still moving around, her cart squeaking as she pushes it down the aisle. She's got those sharp eyes scanning everyone, like she's a hawk looking for trouble. When she gets to Maya's row, she barely stops. "Snack. Drink," she says fast, not even looking at Maya's face. Maya nods and says, "Water, please." Her voice is soft, polite. Sarah hands her a tiny cup of water and moves on quick. No smile, no "here you go," nothing. Just on to the next person. Maya doesn't mind, she sips her water and looks out the window again. But something's brewing. You can feel it? Alright, quick pause. What do you think Maya's secret is? Is she a superhero? A spy? Tell me your ideas below. I bet you're curious, huh? Keep guessing. Back to Maya. She's calm, like a lake with no waves. She's not mad at Sarah, not yet. She's just waiting, like she knows something's coming. And it is. That truth she's carrying? It's big. Bigger than the plane, bigger than the sky they're flying through. Sarah has no idea, but she's about to bump right into it. And when she does, it's going to be like a big, loud whoa moment for everyone. Let's paint the picture a little more. The plane's inside is pretty normal. The seats are blue, a little worn out from lots of trips. The air smells like coffee and pretzels. The windows are small, but the sunlight pours in, making everything bright. Maya's seat is near the middle of the plane, not too close to the loud engines in the back, not too squished up front. She's got a good spot to watch everything happen. And trust me, stuff is going to happen. Sarah keeps doing her thing. She's bossing people around a little, like when a guy asks for more pretzels, she says, "One bag's enough." She's not mean, but she's not nice either. She's just sharp. Like a cactus with prickles. And Maya? She's the opposite. Soft, quiet, watching. She's not loud or pushy. She doesn't demand stuff. She just sits there, sipping her water, her hands resting on her big belly. But that secret? It's ticking like a clock, tick, 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 getting ready to surprise everyone. The other passengers don't notice much. They're busy with their own stuff, eating, sleeping, reading. The kid with the toy car is making vroom noises now, and his mom shushes him. The snoring man wakes up for a second, looks around, then goes right back to sleep. The texting lady giggles at something on her phone. It's all normal, boring plane stuff. But Maya's different. She's got that smile, that little hint of something big. And Sarah? She's walking right into a trap she doesn't even see. Let's slow down and imagine Maya for a minute. She's not super tall or super short, just regular. Her skin is warm brown, and her eyes are dark and shiny, like they're holding a secret all by themselves. Her braid swings a little when she moves her head. She's wearing sneakers because, well, pregnant feet need comfy shoes. Her blue dress has flowers on it, tiny white ones that make her look happy, even if she's tired. She's got a little gold ring on her finger, too. It's simple, but it sparkles when the sunlight hits it. That ring's a clue, but no one's looking close enough to figure it out, not yet. Sarah, on the other hand, is all business. She's taller, with pale skin and that tight bun pulling her hair back. Her eyes are blue, but they're cold, like ice cubes. Her uniform is dark blue, with a little pin that says Sarah on it. She's fast, always moving, always checking, always talking sharp. She doesn't stop to chat or laugh. She's like a robot, just doing her job. But she's not a robot, she's human, and she's about to learn a big lesson. The plane keeps flying, smooth and steady now. The clouds outside are still fluffy, and the sun is starting to dip a little, turning the sky orange and pink. Maya looks at it and smiles wider. She's thinking something, maybe about home, maybe about her baby, maybe about that secret. Whatever it is, it keeps her calm. She's not worried about Sarah or the bumpy seats or anything. She's got something up her sleeve, and it's awesome. Another quick question for you. Have you ever met someone who seemed normal but turned out to be super surprising? Tell me about it below. I love hearing your stories too. Okay, let's keep going. The flight's been in the air for about an hour now. People are settling down, some are napping, some are watching little TV screens on the seats. The kid's toy car is on the floor now, and he's coloring instead. The snoring man's hat falls off, and he doesn't even notice. The texting lady puts her phone away and closes her eyes. It's quiet, except for the hum of the plane and Sarah's cart squeaking as she rolls it back up the aisle. Maya's still awake, though. She's not sleepy. She's watching. Her water cup is empty now, and she sets it on her tray table. She shifts in her seat, trying to get her back comfy. It's not easy with that big belly. But she doesn't complain. She just keeps that little smile, like she's got a secret friend whispering in her ear. And she does, except it's not a friend. It's a truth. A big, exciting truth that's going to shake things up soon. Sarah's coming back down the aisle now. She's picking up trash, empty cups, pretzel bags, crumpled napkins. She's still frowning, still sharp. When she gets to Maya's row, she grabs the empty water cup and says, "Done with this." It's not really a question, it's more like an order. Maya nods and says, "Yes, thank you." Her voice is still soft, still polite. Sarah doesn't say anything back. She just tosses the cup in her trash bag and keeps going. She doesn't see Maya's smile get a tiny bit bigger. That's the thing about Maya. She's not loud or flashy. She doesn't yell or make a fuss. She's quiet, like a mouse sneaking around. But mice can surprise you, they're small, but they're smart. And Maya? She's super smart. She's got that secret tucked away, and it's growing bigger every minute, like a balloon filling up with air. Soon, it's going to pop, and when it does, Sarah's sharp eyes and sharp tongue won't know what hit them. The plane's still flying high, cutting through the sky. The clouds are turning gray now, the sun's almost gone, and it's getting a little darker outside. Inside, the lights are on, making everything cozy. Maya looks around, taking it all in. She sees the kid coloring, the snoring man, the texting lady sleeping. She sees Sarah bossing people around up ahead. She sees it all, and she's ready. Ready for what? You'll find out soon. For now, everything's calm. The pilot comes on again and says, "Folks, we've got about 2 hours left. Sit back and relax." Relax? Huh? Things are about to get wild, but no one knows it yet. Not the passengers, not Sarah, not even the nice flight attendant who made the clout joke earlier. Only Maya knows. And she's keeping it to herself, like a treasure buried deep. So that's where we start, friends. Maya's on this plane, looking normal, acting normal, but hiding something huge. Sarah's sharp and clueless, thinking she's in charge. The flight's going smooth, but it's about to hit some big bumps, not in the sky, but in the story. What's Maya's secret? How's it going to change everything? Stick around, because this is just the beginning, and it's going to get so good. Okay, story fans, here's where things start to heat up. The plane is flying high, and everyone's settled in, or so they think. But trouble is sneaking in, and it's all because of something tiny. Let's dive into it. Maya Jackson is sitting in her seat, 12B, by the window. She's 6 months pregnant, so her big belly makes her uncomfortable. Her back hurts a lot. It's been aching all day, and the plane keeps bouncing a little, like a car on a bumpy road. Not fun. So, Maya decides to ask for help. She sees Sarah, the sharp-tongued flight attendant, coming down the aisle with her cart. Maya raises her hand a little and says, super polite, "Excuse me, could I have an extra pillow, please?" Her voice is soft and nice, like she's asking for a small favor. She just wants her back to feel better. That's all. But Sarah? Oh boy, she's not in a good mood. She stops her cart and looks at Maya with those sharp, icy blue eyes. She doesn't smile. She doesn't nod. Instead, she rolls her eyes big and dramatic, like she's annoyed to even hear the question. Then she snaps, "We don't have spares for everyone, ma'am. You'll have to deal with it." Her voice is loud and mean, cutting through the quiet hum of the plane. It's like a knife slicing the air. A few people nearby turn their heads to look. The kid with the toy car stops playing. The texting lady pauses her tapping. Even the snoring man opens one eye for a second. Everyone hears it. Maya doesn't say anything back. She just sits there, her hands resting on her round belly. She looks calm on the outside like a still pond with no ripples. But inside? Oh, she's boiling. Her heart is beating fast, and she's mad. Really mad. She asked nicely, and Sarah didn't have to be so rude. But Maya's smart. She doesn't yell or cry. She keeps her cool. She's got that little smile still on her face, the one hiding her big secret. She's not going to let Sarah see her get upset. Not yet. Sarah, though, isn't done. She turns away from Maya, pushing her cart forward, but she mutters something under her breath. It's loud enough for Maya to catch it, though. People think they're special just because they're pregnant, Sarah says, her voice dripping with sass. She's not whispering, she wants Maya to hear it. And Maya does. Every word. The guy sitting next to Maya, in seat 12C, hears it too. He's a big guy with a baseball cap, and he smirks a little sneaky grin, like he thinks Sarah's being funny. He doesn't say anything, but that smirk says it all. He's on Sarah's side, or at least he thinks it's no big deal. Maya sees that smirk. She catches it out of the corner of her eye. Her hands stay on her belly, but her eyes? They narrow just a tiny bit. Not a lot, just enough to show she's paying attention. She's not weak. She's not going to let this slide forever. She's waiting, like a cat watching a mouse. Quiet, still, but ready to pounce when the time's right. Inside, she's thinking, you don't know who I am. You don't know what's coming. But she keeps it all locked up. No one can tell she's upset. Not Sarah, not the smirking guy, not anyone. Let's paint the picture a little more. The plane is still flying, and it's a bit bumpy now. The clouds outside are getting thicker, and the plane shakes a little like when you're on a swing and someone pushes you too hard. Maya feels it in her back, and she shifts in her seat, trying to get comfy. Her blue dress with the tiny flowers bunches up a bit, but she smooths it out. She's tired, her feet are puffy, and all she wanted was a pillow. Just one little pillow. But Sarah made it a big deal, and now everyone's looking. Sarah keeps moving down the aisle, her cart squeaking. She's handing out drinks and snacks to other people now, but she's still frowning. Her tight bun pulls her hair back so hard it looks like it hurts. She's mad at Maya, at the plane, at everything. When someone else asks for something, like an extra napkin, she sighs loud and says, "Fine, here." She's not happy, and she's not hiding it. But with Maya, it's different. It's personal now. Sarah didn't just say no, she made it mean. She made it loud. And that muttering? That was like poking Maya with a stick, testing her. The guy next to Maya, the smirker, goes back to his business. He's got a soda now, and he's sipping it, looking out his own window across the aisle. He doesn't care about Maya's back or Sarah's rudeness. To him, it's just a funny moment on a boring flight. But Maya cares. She's not loud about it, but she's feeling it. Her hands press a little harder on her belly, like she's calming herself down or maybe calming her baby. She takes a deep breath, slow and steady. She's not going to explode. Not yet. She's too smart for that. Around them, the plane keeps buzzing along. The kid up front is back to coloring now, scribbling red and blue all over his paper. His mom whispers, "SHH, keep it down." The snoring man is out cold again, his hat still on the floor. The texting lady starts tapping again, her fingers flying over her phone. Everyone's doing their thing, but a few people are still sneaking looks at Maya. They heard Sarah's loud voice. They saw her roll her eyes. And now they're wondering what's going to happen next. Maya's not wondering, though. She knows something. That secret she's hiding? It's like a warm blanket wrapped around her. It keeps her strong, even when Sarah's being mean. She asked for a pillow because her back hurts, but Sarah acted like it was a huge problem. "We don't have spares for everyone," she said. But Maya saw pillows in the back earlier, stacked up near the galley, that little kitchen area where the flight attendants hang out. There were extras. Sarah just didn't want to get one. She didn't care. And that muttering about pregnant people? That was extra mean. It wasn't just about the pillow anymore, it was about making Maya feel small. But Maya's not small. She's tall in her own way, even sitting down. She's got that quiet power, like a lion resting before it roars. Sarah doesn't see it. The smirking guy doesn't see it. The other passengers don't see it either. They just see a pregnant lady who got snapped at. But Maya's eyes, those dark, shiny eyes, tell a different story. They're narrowed now, watching Sarah move away. She's not weak. She's not scared. She's boiling inside, yes, but she's holding it in. She's waiting for the right moment. Let's zoom in on Sarah for a bit. She's at the front of the plane now, talking to another flight attendant. This one's nicer, his name tag says Mike, and he's the guy who made the clout joke earlier. Mike's smiling, handing out cookies to a little girl in row 5. Sarah's not smiling, though. She's whispering something to Mike, and her hands are moving fast, like she's complaining. Maybe she's talking about Maya. Maybe she's saying, "Can you believe that lady asking for a pillow?" Mike nods, but he doesn't look mad. He's just listening. Sarah's sharp tongue is at work again, cutting through the air. Back at seat 12B, Maya takes another deep breath. Her back still hurts, and the bumpy flight isn't helping. She rubs her belly a little, like she's saying, "It's okay, we're fine." She's not fine, though not really. She's mad, and she's got every right to be. She asked nicely. She didn't yell or demand. She just wanted a pillow. But Sarah turned it into a fight. And that muttering? That was like throwing salt on a cut. It stung. Maya's not going to cry, though. She's too strong for that. She's got her secret, and it's keeping her steady. The plane shakes again, a bigger bump this time. The pilot comes on the speaker and says, "Folks, we're hitting some rough air. Stay seated, please." The kid up front giggles, like it's a ride at the fair. The texting lady grabs her armrests. The smirking guy spills a little soda on his tray, and he grumbles. Maya just holds her belly tighter. She's not scared of the bumps, she's been through worse. But her back. Ouch. It's screaming now. That pillow would have helped so much. Too bad Sarah didn't care. Sarah's still up front, her cart parked by the galley. She's grabbing trash bags now, getting ready to clean up. She doesn't look back at Maya, not once. She's too busy being sharp and bossy. She tells Mike, "Hurry up with those cookies," even though he's doing fine. Mike just shrugs and keeps smiling. Sarah's in charge, at least she thinks she is. She doesn't know Maya's watching her, those narrowed eyes following every move. Maya's not weak. She's waiting. The tension's building now. You can feel it, like when you're blowing up a balloon and it's about to pop. Maya's mad, but she's quiet. Sarah's rude, and she's loud. The smirking guy's on Sarah's side, sort of, with that little grin. The other passengers are peeking, curious. Something's going to happen, you just know it. Maya didn't get her pillow, and Sarah didn't just say no, she made it mean. She made it personal. And that muttering? That was the cherry on top. It's not about the pillow anymore, it's about respect. Let's slow down and look at Maya again. She's still in her seat, her blue dress crinkled from sitting so long. Her braid is a little messy now, but she doesn't fix it. She's focused. Her hands are on her belly, rubbing slow circles. She's calming herself, keeping that boiling feeling inside. Her eyes are still narrowed, but her smile's back just a tiny one. It's not a happy smile, it's a wait-and-see smile. She's got something up her sleeve, and it's big. Bigger than Sarah's sharp tongue. Bigger than this bumpy plane. The guy next to her, the smirker, finishes his soda and crunches the can. He looks at Maya for a second, like he's wondering if she'll say something. She doesn't. She just keeps rubbing her belly, looking out the window. The clouds are dark now, and the plane's still shaking a little. The smirker shrugs and leans back. He's done caring. But Maya's not done. She's just getting started. Sarah's voice cuts through again. She's back in the aisle, calling out, "Trash. Put your trash out." She's loud, like she's waking everyone up. The kid up front holds up his coloring paper, and Sarah snaps, "Not that your cup." The kid's mom frowns but hands over an empty juice box. Sarah grabs it and keeps going. She's a storm moving through the plane, all sharp edges and loud noises. When she gets to Maya's row, she doesn't even look at her. She just says, "Trash," and holds out her bag. Maya shakes her head, "No trash." Sarah moves on, quick and cold. Maya watches her go. Her eyes follow Sarah all the way down the aisle. She's not boiling over yet, but it's close. That rudeness, that muttering, that smirk, it's all piling up. She's calm on the outside, but inside, she's a volcano, ready to blow. Not with yelling or crying, though. Maya's too smart for that. She's got her secret, and it's her power. Sarah doesn't know it. The smirker doesn't know it. But we're going to find out soon. The plane keeps flying, bumping through the clouds. The tension's thick now, like fog you can't see through. Maya's waiting, Sarah's snapping, and something big is coming. It started with a pillow, a tiny little ask. But Sarah turned it into a fight. And Maya? She's not weak. She's not giving up. She's ready to show everyone what she's really got. Stick around, because this is just the start of the fireworks. Alright, story fans, buckle up. The plane's still flying, and things are getting wilder by the minute. The flight drags on, it feels super long, like when you're waiting for recess but the clock won't move. Maya Jackson's still in her seat, 12B, with her big pregnant belly and her quiet smile. She's calm, but stuff's happening around her, and it's not nice stuff. Sarah, that sharp-tongued flight attendant, isn't letting up. She's making things tough for Maya, and it's getting worse. Let's see what's going on. The plane's been in the air for a while now. The clouds outside are dark and thick, and the bumps keep coming, little shakes that make everyone wiggle in their seats. Maya's back still hurts from before, when she asked for that extra pillow and Sarah snapped at her. She's trying to stay comfy, but it's hard. She presses the little call button above her seat, you know, the one with the light bulb picture on it. It's supposed to get a flight attendant to come help. Maya presses it because she needs something, maybe water, maybe just to stretch her legs. She's not picky. She just wants a little help. But Sarah? She sees that light go on above Maya's seat, and she ignores it. Yup, totally pretends it's not there. She's walking down the aisle with her cart, looking at all the other call lights, but when she gets near Maya, she keeps her eyes straight ahead. She doesn't stop. She doesn't even slow down. Maya watches her go by, quiet as a shadow. She doesn't wave or yell. She just sits there, her hands on her belly, waiting. Inside, she's still boiling a little from before, but she's not showing it. Not yet. Sarah keeps moving, handing out stuff to other people. It's drink time now, soda, juice, water. She's got her cart piled with cups and cans, and she's calling out, "What do you want?" "Soda." "Water." She stops at every row, passing out drinks with her quick hands. But when she gets to Maya's row, she skips it. Just zooms right past. The smirking guy next to Maya, in seat 12C, gets a soda. The lady in front gets juice. But Maya? Nothing. Sarah doesn't even look at her. It's like Maya's invisible. Maya notices, though. Her eyes follow Sarah, and that little smile stays on her face. She's not mad on the outside, but inside. Oh, she's steaming. It doesn't stop there. Sarah's on a roll now. A little later, she's walking back up the aisle, no cart this time, just picking up empty cups and trash. She's fast, her shoes clicking on the floor. When she gets to Maya's seat, something happens. She accidentally bumps into Maya's chair hard enough to make it shake. Maya jolts a little, her belly bouncing. Sarah turns quick and says, "Oops, sorry." But her smile? It's fake. Super fake. Her lips curl up, but her eyes are cold, like she doesn't mean it at all. It's like when someone says sorry but you know they're not really sorry. Maya knows it too. She doesn't say a word. She just watches Sarah walk away, quiet as a shadow. Sarah thinks she's winning. She thinks Maya's weak or scared or something. But Maya's not weak. She's not scared. She's watching everything, like a hawk watching a mouse. She sees Sarah's fake smile. She sees her skip the drinks. She sees her ignore the call button. And she's keeping track. Every little thing Sarah does piles up, like stacking blocks higher and higher. Maya's not yelling or crying, she's too smart for that. She's waiting, and she's got something up her sleeve. Something big. Now, Maya does something. She pulls out her phone from her little purse. It's a small phone, black and shiny, with a cute case that has stars on it. She flips it open, well, not flips, but you know, unlocks it with her thumb. Her fingers are steady, not shaky at all. She starts typing a message. Tap, tap, tap fast and sure. She's not frowning or looking worried. She's calm, like she's writing something important. What's she typing? It's not a complaint to a friend, like oh, this lady's so mean. Nope. It's something bigger. Something way cooler. But we don't know what it is yet. It's a secret, and Maya's keeping it close. While she's typing, something else happens. The guy sitting a row up, in seat 11B, leans over. He's an older guy with glasses and a friendly face, not like the smirking guy next to Maya. He's been watching Sarah too, and he doesn't like what he sees. He whispers to Maya, "You okay?" She's being awful. His voice is soft, like he doesn't want Sarah to hear. He's worried for Maya. He saw the bump, the skipped drinks, all of it. Maya looks at him and nods. "Don't worry," she says, her voice quiet but strong. "She'll figure it out soon." The guy frowns, confused. "Figure what out? What's Maya talking about?" But her voice has a spark like a little firecracker ready to pop. She knows something he doesn't. The guy leans back, still frowning. He's scratching his head, trying to guess what Maya means. He doesn't get it, but he can tell she's not scared. She's not upset. She's ready. That spark in her voice makes him curious, but he doesn't ask more. He just watches, like the rest of us, waiting to see what's next. Let's zoom out a bit. The plane's still flying, and it's getting bumpier. The clouds outside are dark gray now, like a big storm's coming. The pilot comes on the speaker again, "Hey folks, hold tight, some rough air ahead." The kid up front giggles again, like it's a game. The texting lady grabs her armrests tighter. The smirking guy grumbles and wipes soda off his tray from the last bump. Everyone's feeling it, but Maya. She's steady. She finishes her message, hits send, and puts her phone back in her purse. She's not worried about the bumps. She's got bigger things on her mind. Sarah's still being Sarah. She's up near the galley now, that little kitchen spot in the back. She's grabbing more trash bags and chatting with Mike, the nice flight attendant. Mike's laughing at something, but Sarah's not. She's pointing down the aisle, maybe talking about Maya again. "That lady's so annoying," she might be saying. Mike just nods, like he's used to her complaining. Sarah's sharp tongue is busy, cutting everyone down. She doesn't know Maya's watching her from way back in 12B. She doesn't know about the message. She doesn't know anything yet. Back in her seat, Maya's quiet again. She's like a shadow, still and silent, but there. Her hands are on her belly, rubbing little circles. Her back hurts, her feet are puffy, and Sarah's making everything worse. But Maya's not breaking. That phone message? It's like a secret weapon. She sent it, and now she's waiting. Waiting for what? We don't know, but it's coming. You can feel it, like when you're hiding a surprise and can't wait to show it. The plane shakes again, big this time. Cups roll off trays, and the kid up front yells, "We." His mom shushes him quick. The smirking guy curses under his breath, his soda's all over his lap now. The texting lady gasps and holds on tight. Maya just grips her armrests and keeps her eyes on Sarah. She's not scared of the bumps. She's not scared of anything. That spark in her voice? It's still there, growing brighter. Sarah's heading back down the aisle now. She's got her trash bag, swinging it as she walks. "Trash. Trash out," she calls, loud and sharp. She's not looking at Maya, she's pretending she doesn't exist. But when she gets close, she bumps Maya's seat again. "Oops," she says, that fake smile back. Maya doesn't flinch. She just watches, her eyes narrowing a tiny bit. Sarah moves on, thinking she's in charge. She's not. Not really. The guy in 11B, the nice one, leans over again. She did that on purpose, he whispers. Maya nods, just a little. It's okay, she says softly. She'll see soon. Her voice is calm, but that spark's still there like a little light flickering. The guy's even more confused now. See what? What's Maya waiting for? He wants to ask, but he doesn't. He just sits back, watching her watch Sarah. Let's slow down and look around. The plane's a mess now, trash on the floor, trays rattling from the bumps. The kid's coloring book slides off his table, and he whines. The texting lady's phone falls, and she scrambles to grab it. The smirking guy's wiping his pants, muttering about the soda. Everyone's annoyed or tired or both. But Maya. She's different. She's calm in the middle of it all. Her blue dress is wrinkled, her braids loose, but she's steady. Her hands keep rubbing her belly, and her smile's still there, small, secret, strong. Sarah's almost at the front now. She's dumping her trash bag and grabbing a new one. She's fast, sharp, bossy. She tells Mike, clean up faster, even though he's doing fine. Mike just smiles and keeps going. Sarah's running the show, or she thinks she is. She doesn't see Maya's eyes following her. She doesn't hear that spark in Maya's voice. She doesn't know about the phone message. But it's all building up, like a snowball rolling downhill, getting bigger and bigger. Maya's not just sitting there anymore. She's observing. She sees Sarah bump her seat twice now. She sees her skip the drinks. She sees her ignore the call button. And she's taking notes in her head. Every little thing Sarah does is another block on the pile. Maya's not loud about it. She's not waving her arms or shouting. She's quiet, like a ninja hiding in the dark. But she's strong. Stronger than Sarah knows. The plane keeps bouncing up, down, shake, shake. The pilot comes on again. Sorry, folks, more bumps ahead. The kid claps, like it's fun. The texting lady groans. The smirking guy sighs loud. Maya doesn't react. She's focused. That message she sent? It's out there now, doing something. We don't know what, but it's big. It's like a seed she planted, and it's starting to grow. Sarah's back in the aisle, moving toward Maya again. She's got her new trash bag, and she's calling out, trash. Let's go. She's loud, like a teacher yelling at recess. When she gets to Maya's row, she stops for a second. Anything, she snaps, not even looking at Maya. Maya shakes her head, no trash. Sarah huffs and moves on. That huff? It's another poke. Another mean little jab. Maya feels it, but she doesn't bite. She just watches, her eyes sharp now, like a cat ready to jump. The guy in 11B can't take it anymore. He leans over one more time. She's so rude, he whispers. You sure you're okay? Maya turns to him, her smile growing just a bit. I'm fine, she says. She'll figure it out soon. That spark's louder now, like a little bell ringing. The guy's baffled. He doesn't get it, but he believes her. Something's coming. Something cool. The tension's thick now, like pudding you can't stir. Sarah's being awful, ignoring, skipping, bumping. Maya's staying calm, but she's ready. That phone message? It's a clue. That spark in her voice? Another clue. She's not weak. She's not lost. She's waiting, and it's going to be big. The plane's bumpy, Sarah's sharp, and Maya's secret is simmering. Stick around, because the next part's going to blow your mind. The plane had just landed. People were excited to get off. They grabbed their bags, their coats, and their snacks from the little trays. Everyone was moving fast, pushing toward the door. Feet shuffled on the floor, making a soft, scratchy sound. Some kids giggled as they tugged their backpacks. Others yawned, stretching their arms after the long flight. The air smelled like coffee and airplane food, kind of stale, but familiar. It was a busy moment, full of noise and chatter. Aisha, though, didn't rush. She stayed in her seat. Her big, round belly made it hard to move quick. She rubbed it gently with her hand, feeling the baby inside kick a little. She was tired, really tired. Her back hurt from sitting so long, and her legs felt heavy, like they didn't want to work. She took a deep breath and looked out the tiny window. The sky was gray, but she could see the ground now. They were finally here. Lisa, the flight attendant, stood near the front. She had her arms crossed, tapping her foot fast. Her face looked annoyed, like she couldn't wait for everyone to leave. She'd been mean to Aisha the whole flight, and now she was still grumpy. "Come on, let's go," Lisa snapped, her voice sharp like a teacher scolding a kid. "Move it. We've got other flights to get ready for." Aisha didn't say anything. She just kept sitting there, taking her time. She wasn't in a hurry. She reached down to grab her small bag from under the seat. It had her water bottle and a little snack inside, crackers she hadn't eaten yet. Her hands moved slow, not because she was scared, but because she knew something Lisa didn't. Something big. Then, the plane door opened with a loud whoosh. Cool air rushed in, and everyone turned their heads. A man stepped inside. He was tall, taller than most people on the plane. His suit was fancy, all black and shiny, like something you'd see in a movie. His shoes clicked on the floor as he walked. He didn't look like a regular passenger. No backpack, no messy hair, no tired eyes. He looked important. People started whispering right away. "Who's that?" one lady asked, tugging her scarf tighter. "He looks like a boss or something," a kid said, peeking over his seat. "Maybe he's famous," another voice chimed in. The whispers grew louder, like a wave rolling through the plane. Everyone wanted to know who this guy was. Even the baby near Aisha stopped crying for a second, like it was curious too. Lisa noticed him right away. Her grumpy face changed fast. She stood up straighter, like a soldier in line. Her lips stretched into a big, fake smile, the kind you give when you're trying to look nice but don't really mean it. "Sir, welcome aboard," she said, her voice all sweet now. "How can I assist you today?" She stepped closer, her hands clasped tight in front of her. She thought she could impress him, maybe get a compliment or something. But the man didn't even look at her. Not once. His eyes moved over the plane, searching. They were dark and serious, like he had something big on his mind. He didn't care about Lisa's smile or her words. He kept walking, slow and steady, past the seats, past the bags, past the people still grabbing their stuff. Everyone watched him, holding their breath. Who was he looking for? Then his eyes landed on Aisha. His whole face changed. The seriousness melted away, and he looked soft. Happy. Like he'd just found something he'd been missing. He walked right to her seat, his steps faster now. "Honey, are you okay?" he asked. His voice was deep but gentle, like a dad talking to his kid. He bent down a little and held out his hand to help her up. Aisha looked up at him and smiled. It wasn't a big smile, just a small, quiet one. "I'm fine, Marcus," she said softly. "Just a little tired." She took his hand, and he helped her stand. Her belly made it tricky, but he was careful, holding her arm like she was the most important person in the world. And to him, she was. Lisa's mouth fell open. Wide open. Like she'd just seen a ghost or something crazy. Her eyes got big, and her fake smile disappeared fast. She didn't know what to say. She just stood there, staring, her hands dropping to her sides. The passengers around them gasped loud, sharp gasps, like they'd all sucked in air at the same time. A lady dropped her purse, and it hit the floor with a thud. A kid whispered, "Whoa, what's happening?" Because this wasn't just any man. This was Marcus Jackson. And Marcus Jackson wasn't just some guy in a suit. He was the boss, the big boss of the whole airline. The guy who owned the planes, the tickets, the pillows, everything. And Aisha? She wasn't just some quiet, pregnant lady. She was his wife. The plane got quiet for a second. Really quiet. You could hear the wind outside and the creak of the seats as people leaned closer to see. Then the whispers started again, faster this time. "That's her husband. He owns the airline." "No way." The words bounced around like popcorn popping in a pan. Everyone was shocked. Everyone except Aisha. She just stood there, calm as ever, holding Marcus's hand. Lisa's face turned white, like all the color ran away. She looked like she might fall over. I didn't know," she said, her voice shaky now. She wasn't yelling anymore. She wasn't bossy. She sounded small, like a kid who got caught doing something bad. Her hands twisted together, and she took a tiny step back. She was scared. Really scared. Marcus turned to her. He didn't yell. He didn't even raise his voice. He just looked at her, his eyes steady and strong. "You didn't need to know who she was," he said. His words were slow and clear, like he wanted her to hear every single one. "You should have treated her with respect anyway." Lisa blinked fast. She opened her mouth to say something, but nothing came out. She looked around, like maybe someone would help her. But no one did. The passengers just watched, their eyes big and curious. Some of them nodded, like they agreed with Marcus. Others whispered to each other, pointing at Lisa, then at Aisha. Aisha didn't say much. She didn't need to. She stood next to Marcus, her head up high. Her tired eyes sparkled a little now, like she knew this moment was coming all along. She'd been quiet the whole flight, taking Lisa's mean words and rude looks. But she wasn't weak. Oh no. She was strong, stronger than anyone thought. Marcus looked around the plane. His face was serious again. "My wife deserves better than this," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "Every person on this plane deserves better." His voice was like a promise, like he meant every word. People nodded more. A man in the back clapped his hands once, then stopped, like he wasn't sure if he should. Lisa took another step back. Her badge glinted under the lights, but it didn't matter anymore. She wasn't in charge now. She wasn't the bossy flight attendant barking orders. She was just a lady who'd made a big mistake, a really big one. The supervisor came running up then. He was a short guy with glasses and a clipboard. He looked nervous, wiping sweat off his forehead. "Mr. Jackson, sir," he said, out of breath. "What's going on?" He glanced at Lisa, then at Aisha, then back at Marcus. He could tell something was wrong. Marcus didn't waste time. "This flight attendant," he said, pointing at Lisa, "was rude to my wife. Yelled at her. Made her feel bad. Over a pillow." He shook his head, like he couldn't believe it. "That's not how we do things here." The supervisor's eyes got wide. "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir," he stammered. He turned to Lisa. "Is this true?" His voice was sharp now, like he was mad too. Lisa gulped. "I didn't know she was your wife," she said fast. I was just," she stopped, her words all jumbled up. She knew she couldn't fix this. Marcus held up a hand. "It doesn't matter who she is," he said again. "You don't treat people like that. Ever." He looked at Aisha, then back at Lisa. "You messed up." The passengers were buzzing now. Some pulled out their phones, snapping pictures. Others started talking louder. "She's done for," a lady whispered. "Serves her right," a man said, crossing his arms. A kid giggled and said, "This is better than TV." Aisha squeezed Marcus's hand. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'm fine now." But Marcus shook his head. "No," he said. "It's not okay. Not yet." The supervisor scribbled something on his clipboard. "We'll handle this, sir," he said to Marcus. "Right away." He looked at Lisa and pointed toward the door. "You. Come with me." Lisa's shoulders slumped. She didn't argue. She didn't yell. She just followed the supervisor, her head down. Her fancy badge didn't mean much now. She'd been so mean, so sure she was right. But she wasn't. Not even close. Marcus turned back to Aisha. "Let's get you home," he said, his voice gentle again. He picked up her bag for her, holding it like it was no trouble at all. Aisha nodded, and they started walking toward the door together. The passengers moved out of their way, some smiling at Aisha now, like they were sorry they hadn't helped her before. As they passed, people kept talking. "She's so cool," a girl said. "He's the boss," a boy added. "I can't believe it," another voice chimed in. The plane was alive with chatter, everyone amazed at what they'd just seen. And Lisa? She was gone out the door with the supervisor. She'd thought she was big and important, bossing Aisha around. But she didn't know the truth. She didn't know who Aisha really was. And now, she'd never forget it. Aisha and Marcus stepped off the plane. The cool air hit their faces, and Aisha took a deep breath. She was tired, sure. But she was also proud. She'd stayed calm. She'd waited. And now, everyone knew she wasn't just some lady on a plane. She was someone special. The big reveal wasn't loud or flashy. It didn't need to be. It was quiet, strong, and real, just like Aisha. And for Lisa, it was a lesson she'd never see coming. The plane was quiet now, but outside, things got wild. The big metal door was still open, and people stood around on the tarmac. That's the flat, hard ground where planes park. The air smelled like gas and rubber from the tires. Everyone's shoes made little tapping sounds as they moved. Passengers didn't rush off like usual. Nope. They stayed, holding their bags, their coats, even their snacks, just watching. Their eyes were big, and their mouths hung open a little. Something big was happening, and nobody wanted to miss it. Marcus stood tall next to Aisha. His fancy suit shone under the bright lights, and his face was serious like a teacher about to give a big talk. He waved his hand fast, calling someone over. "Hey! Supervisor! Come here," he shouted. His voice was loud but not mean, just strong, like he knew he was in charge. A little man came running over. He was the crew supervisor, the guy who helps run things on the ground. His name tag said Tom, and he had glasses that slid down his nose. He looked sweaty and nervous, like he'd been caught off guard. He held a clipboard tight against his chest, and his pen wiggled in his shaky hand. "Yes, Mr. Jackson," Tom said, puffing a little because he'd run so fast. "What's going on?" Marcus pointed at Lisa, who stood a few steps away. She was trying to look small, like a mouse hiding from a cat. Her arms were crossed tight, and her face was all crumpled up. "This lady," Marcus said, "she was mean to my wife. Really mean. Yelled at her over a pillow. Made her feel bad the whole flight." He shook his head slow, like he couldn't believe it. "That's not okay." Tom's eyes got wide behind his glasses. He pushed them up with one finger and looked at Lisa. "Is that true?" he asked, his voice sharp now. He wasn't happy. Supervisors don't like trouble, especially not trouble with the big boss. Lisa's cheeks turned red, then white, then red again. She fidgeted with her hands, twisting her fingers like she didn't know what to do with them. I was just doing my job," she said fast. Her voice cracked a little, like she was scared. "I didn't know who she was. I thought she was just some lady taking stuff." She waved her arms around, trying to explain. But nobody looked like they believed her. Her words sounded weak, like a balloon losing air. Marcus didn't even look at her. He turned to Aisha instead. She stood there, her head up high, her big belly sticking out under her coat. She didn't say much, just watched with her calm, quiet eyes. She didn't need to talk. Marcus was doing it for her. He put his hand on her shoulder, soft and gentle, like he was saying, "I've got this." "No one treats my wife like that," Marcus said, looking at Tom now. His voice was steady, like a rock that wouldn't move. "No one treats any passenger like that. Not on my planes." He pointed at Lisa again. "She's done here." Lisa's mouth fell open. "What?" she squeaked. "Done? You mean she didn't finish?" "She didn't have to." Everyone knew what he meant. Tom nodded fast, scribbling on his clipboard. "Yes, sir, Mr. Jackson," he said. "I'll take care of it." He turned to Lisa and pointed toward a little building nearby. "You. Come with me. Now." His voice wasn't loud, but it was firm, like he wasn't asking, he was telling. Lisa's shoulders dropped. Her badge, all shiny and proud before, looked silly now. She didn't argue. She didn't yell. She just shuffled after Tom, her head down low. Her shoes dragged on the ground, making a sad little scraping sound. She looked back once, her eyes big and watery, but no one said anything to help her. She'd been mean, and now she was paying for it. Passengers started whispering again. "She's fired," a lady said, clutching her purse. "Good," a man added, nodding hard. "She was so rude." A kid near the back jumped up and down. "That was awesome," he giggled, tugging his mom's sleeve. Everyone was talking, their voices mixing together like a big, buzzy swarm of bees. Aisha stayed quiet. She didn't smile or laugh. She just stood there, holding Marcus's hand. Her coat was a little wrinkled from the flight, but she looked strong like a queen who didn't need a crown. Marcus looked at her and smiled. "You okay?" he asked again, soft and sweet. "Yeah," Aisha said, nodding. "I'm okay now." Her voice was small but clear, like a bell ringing in the wind. She rubbed her belly again, feeling the baby move. She was tired, sure, but she felt good too. Like she'd won something without even trying. Marcus turned to the crowd. "Listen up," he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. "This airline is mine. And I want every person on my planes to feel safe. To feel good. No yelling. No rudeness. Got it?" He looked around, his eyes meeting theirs. People nodded back, some clapping their hands. "Yes, sir," a man shouted from the back. "That's right," a lady added. Then Marcus did something big. He pulled out his phone and tapped on it fast. "I'm sending a letter," he said. "An apology. To every single person on this flight." He looked up and smiled a little. "You'll get it tonight. And a free ticket too. For the trouble." The crowd cheered. "Wow," a kid yelled. "Free tickets." People clapped louder, their faces lighting up. Some hugged each other, like they just won a prize. The air felt warm now, even though it was chilly outside. Everyone was happy, everyone except Lisa. By the end of the day, it was official. Lisa didn't have a job anymore. Tom came back alone, his clipboard still in hand. "She's gone," he told Marcus, pushing his glasses up again. "Won't happen again, sir." Marcus nodded. "Good," he said. "Let's keep it that way." Word spread fast like wildfire running through dry grass. People on the flight told their friends. Their friends told more friends. Soon, everyone at the airport was talking about it. "Did you hear?" a lady said, sipping her coffee. "The boss's wife was on that plane." "Yeah," a man replied, "and the flight attendant got fired." Even the workers pushing carts and cleaning seats heard the story. It was everywhere. The crew, the other flight attendants and helpers changed too. Before, they'd ignored Aisha. Some had even laughed quietly when Lisa was mean. But now, they saw her different. They saw her standing there, tall and calm, next to Marcus. She wasn't just some lady anymore. She was special. Strong. A reminder that you don't mess with people, not even the quiet ones. One flight attendant, a girl with curly hair, walked up to Aisha before they left. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice shy. "I should have said something. You didn't deserve that." Aisha smiled a little smile, but a real one. "It's okay," she said. "Just be nice next time." The girl nodded fast. "I will. Promise." Marcus and Aisha started walking away. He carried her bag, and she leaned on his arm a little. The crowd parted, making a path for them. Some people waved. "Take care," a lady called. "You're awesome," a kid shouted. Aisha waved back, just once, her hand small but steady. The tarmac was busy now, planes rolling, carts beeping, people yelling. But for a second, it felt like everything stopped. Everyone watched Aisha and Marcus go. They didn't look back. They didn't need to. Justice was done. Lisa was gone, and Aisha was okay. Better than okay, she was shining. Back at the airline office, phones started ringing. People got emails, little ding sounds on their screens. "Dear passenger," the letter said. "We're sorry for what happened today. It wasn't right. Here's a free ticket for your next trip. Fly with us again soon." People smiled at their phones, showing their kids, their friends. "Look at this," they said. "They mean it." The crew learned fast too. The next day, they were extra nice. "Need a pillow?" they'd ask, smiling big. "Water? A snack?" No one wanted to be like Lisa. No one wanted to lose their job or make Marcus mad. They remembered Aisha now. Her quiet strength stuck with them, like a story they'd tell over and over. Aisha didn't care about all that, though. She just wanted to go home. To sit down. To rest. Marcus drove her back, the car quiet except for the hum of the engine. You're amazing, he told her, glancing over. You didn't let her get to you. Aisha shrugged. I knew you'd fix it, she said, smiling again. And she was right. Lisa. She was somewhere else now. Maybe at home, maybe packing her stuff. She'd been so loud, so sure she was big and important. But she wasn't. Not anymore. She'd learned a hard lesson, one she'd never forget. Be kind. Be fair. Or you might lose everything. And Aisha? She was a hero without even trying. She showed everyone, passengers, crew, even Marcus, that you don't have to yell to win. You just have to wait. To stand tall. To let the truth come out. And when it did, it was better than any fight. It was just as real, strong, and fair. So that's how it ended. Chaos turned to calm. Mean turned to sorry. And Aisha, the quiet lady with the big belly, walked away with her head high. She didn't need to say much. She didn't have to. Everyone knew now kindness matters. Always. No matter who's watching. The tarmac was still buzzing as Aisha and Marcus walked away. The big plane sat there, its engines off now, quiet like it was sleeping. The sky was getting dark, turning a deep blue with little stars peeking out. People still stood around, some holding their phones up, taking pictures of the plane, of Marcus, of Aisha. They wanted to remember this day, this big, crazy moment when everything flipped upside down. A lady in a red coat leaned over to her friend. I can't believe it, she said, her voice all high and excited. That flight attendant thought she was so tough, and now look. Her friend nodded, chewing on a piece of gum. Yeah, she's outta here. Good riddance. They laughed a little, their breaths making tiny clouds in the cold air. Nearby, a man with a gray hat pulled his suitcase closer. I saw the whole thing, he told a guy next to him. She yelled at that pregnant lady over a stupid pillow. A pillow. Can you believe it? The other guy shook his head. Nope. And now she's fired. That's what you get. They both grinned, like they just heard the best story ever. Kids were running around too, their sneakers squeaking on the ground. Did you see the boss guy? One boy asked, his eyes wide. He was so cool. Like a superhero. His sister jumped up and down. Yeah, and his wife was awesome. She didn't even cry or anything. They pretended to be Marcus and Aisha, the boy puffing out his chest and the girl holding her hands like she had a big belly. Take that, mean lady, the boy shouted, and they giggled like crazy. Back near the plane, Tom, the supervisor, was still talking to some workers. His glasses fogged up a little from the cold, and he wiped them with his sleeve. Make sure this doesn't happen again, he told them, his voice serious. Mr. Jackson doesn't play around. The workers nodded fast. Yes, sir, one said. We'll be good, another added. They didn't want trouble, not after what they'd just seen. Inside the little building where Lisa went, things were quiet. Too quiet. Lisa sat on a hard chair, her hands in her lap. Her badge was off now, sitting on the table in front of her. It looked dull without the plane lights shining on it. Tom stood by the door, writing more on his clipboard. You're off the team, he said, not looking at her. Pack your stuff and go home. Lisa didn't say anything. She just stared at the floor, her face all tight and sad. She'd been so loud before, so bossy. Now she was small, like she'd shrunk right there in the chair. Outside, the passengers were starting to leave. Some got into cars, their headlights flashing on. Others walked to the big airport doors, dragging their bags behind them. But they kept talking about Aisha and Marcus. She was so calm, a lady said, pulling her scarf tighter. I'd have yelled back, her friend replied, shaking her head. Not her, though. She's tough. A man in a blue jacket nodded nearby. That's real strength, he said. Staying quiet till it matters. Then bam, her husband shows up. He snapped his fingers, and his wife laughed. Yep, she said. That flight attendant didn't see it coming. Not one bit. The story was growing bigger every minute. People texted their families. You won't believe what happened on my flight, one message said. The boss fired someone right in front of us, another read. Phones buzzed and dinged all over the airport. Even the workers at the check-in desks heard about it. Marcus Jackson was here, one asked, her eyes wide. Yep, her friend said, handing out a ticket. And he wasn't happy. Aisha and Marcus were almost to their car now. It was a shiny black one, parked near the edge of the tarmac. Marcus opened the door for Aisha, helping her sit down slow. Her belly made it tricky, but she smiled at him. Thanks, she said, her voice soft like always. He smiled back. Anything for you, he said, shutting the door gentle so it didn't slam. He walked around to the driver's side and got in. The car started with a low hum, and the headlights flicked on, cutting through the dark. Aisha leaned back in her seat, closing her eyes for a second. Long day, she said, rubbing her belly again. Marcus nodded. Yeah. But it's over now. He reached over and squeezed her hand. You were amazing back there. Aisha opened her eyes and looked at him. I didn't do much, she said. Just waited. Marcus shook his head. That's everything, he said. You stayed strong. Let me handle the rest. She smiled again, a little bigger this time. Teamwork, she said, and he laughed. Yep. Teamwork. They drove off, the car rolling smooth over the tarmac. The airport lights faded behind them, and the noise got quieter. Inside, it was just them, Marcus, Aisha, and the baby they were waiting to meet. The day had been loud and crazy, but now it was calm. Peaceful. Like the storm was finally gone. Back at the airport, the free tickets started popping up. People's phones lit up with emails. Wow, look, a girl said, showing her dad. We can fly again for free. Her dad grinned. That's nice of them, he said. Really nice. A lady nearby cheered. I'm going to Florida, she said, clapping her hands. Thank you, Mr. Jackson. Everyone was happy now, laughing, planning, smiling big. The crew kept working, but they were different. The next flight they prepped, they smiled more. Here's a pillow, one said to a lady, handing it over gentle. Need anything else, another asked a man, his voice kind. They didn't want to be like Lisa. They wanted to be better. Kinder. They remembered Aisha's face, quiet, strong, waiting, and they didn't want to mess up again. Tom walked around, checking on them. Good job, he said, nodding. Keep it up. He was proud now, not nervous. He knew Marcus would hear about this, how the crew was doing better. How the passengers were happy. It felt good to fix things, to make them right. Lisa, though, wasn't there to see it. She was gone out of the airport, out of the job. Maybe she was in a car too, driving home slow. Maybe she was thinking about what happened. How she'd yelled. How she'd been so sure she was right. She'd lost everything in just a few minutes, her badge, her power, her place. It was a big fall, and it hurt. But for Aisha, it was a big win. She didn't fight. She didn't shout. She just stood there, letting the truth come out. And when it did, it was loud, louder than any yell Lisa could have made. It was justice, plain and simple. The mean lady was gone, and the good people stayed. The airport kept moving. Planes took off, their engines roaring. People waved goodbye, their bags bouncing behind them. Lights blinked in the dark, red and green and white. It was busy, loud, alive. But the story of Aisha and Marcus stayed with everyone. It was like a little seed planted in their heads, a reminder to be nice, to be fair, to not judge too fast. The next day, newspapers wrote about it. Airline boss fires rude worker, one said. Pregnant wife wins the day, another shouted. People read it over breakfast, their spoons clinking in their bowls. Wow, a mom said, showing her kids. See? Being kind matters. The kids nodded, their mouths full of cereal. Yeah, one said. That lady should have been nicer. At school, kids talked about it too. My uncle was on that plane, a boy bragged. He said it was crazy. His friends leaned in. Tell us, they begged, and he did, making it bigger and wilder every time. The story grew and grew, like a ball rolling downhill. Aisha didn't know all that, though. She was home now, her feet up on a soft couch. Marcus brought her a glass of water, cold and clear. Rest, he said, sitting next to her. She nodded, sipping slow. I will, she said. But it feels good. He tilted his head. What does? She smiled. Knowing it's fixed. Knowing people learned. He hugged her then, careful not to squish her belly. You're right, he said. They did. And they stayed like that, quiet and happy, while the world outside kept spinning. Justice was served not with fists or shouts, but with truth. Lisa was gone. Aisha was safe. And everyone, passengers, crew, even kids reading the news, knew one thing for sure: kindness wins. Every time. And that's the story of Aisha Jackson, a lady who didn't yell, didn't fight, but still won big. She stayed calm, like a quiet lake with no waves. She stayed strong, like a tree that doesn't bend in the wind. And she let the truth come out all by itself, like the sun popping up after a long night. Aisha didn't need to make a big fuss. She didn't need to shout or cry. She just waited, and that was enough. Sometimes, the person you think can't do much is the one holding all the secrets that can change everything. Think about that for a second. You see someone quiet, someone small, someone you might not notice at first. Maybe they're sitting alone, or maybe they're just doing their thing, not making noise. You might think they're not important. You might think they don't matter. But what if they do? What if they're like Aisha, someone with a big story hiding inside? Someone who's stronger than you know? You can't tell just by looking. That's the tricky part. That's the magic part too. So next time you're fast to judge, fast to say, oh, that person's nothing special, stop. Take a breath. Look again. You never know who's really in charge. You never know who's got power you can't see. Aisha was a lady on a plane, tired and pregnant, just wanting a pillow. But she was also the wife of the big boss. She had strength nobody guessed. And when it came out, it flipped the whole day upside down. Pretty cool, right? Life's like that sometimes. It's full of surprises. You see a kid at school, maybe they're shy, maybe they don't talk much. You think, they're just quiet. But maybe they're super smart. Maybe they draw pictures better than anyone. Or maybe they've got a big heart that helps people when no one's looking. You don't know until you find out. Same with grown ups. The guy sweeping the floor? He might have been a soldier once. The lady at the store? She might write songs at night. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got something special. Aisha's story makes you think. It's not about being loud or big or pushy. It's about being you, real you, and letting that shine when it's time. She didn't try to prove anything to Lisa. She didn't need to. She knew who she was, and that was enough. When Marcus showed up, it wasn't just about him being the boss. It was about Aisha being strong in her own way. Quiet doesn't mean weak. Waiting doesn't mean scared. Sometimes, it's the quiet ones who change the world. Have you ever seen that happen? Maybe you know someone who surprised everyone. Maybe it was a friend who seemed shy but won a race. Or a teacher who looked boring but told the best stories. Or maybe it was you, maybe you did something awesome that nobody expected. Think about it. Those moments are like little sparks. They light up the dark and show you something new. Let's talk about Lisa for a minute. She thought she was big stuff, yelling, bossing people around. She judged Aisha fast, thinking, she's just some lady. But she got it all wrong. And when the truth came out, she didn't look so big anymore. That's what happens when you judge too quick. You miss the real picture. You trip over your own feet. Lisa learned that the hard way. She lost her job, her badge, everything because she didn't stop to think. She didn't stop to care. Now imagine if Lisa had been nice. What if she'd smiled at Aisha and said, here's a pillow, take it easy. The day would have been so different. No yelling, no trouble, no firing. Just a happy flight with happy people. Kindness is like that, it's simple, but it's strong. It can change a whole story. Aisha didn't need to be mean back. She didn't need to fight. She just stayed kind, stayed calm, and let kindness win. That's a superpower, don't you think? So what can we take from this? Be like Aisha. Be patient. Be strong inside. Don't let mean words shake you. You don't have to yell to be heard. You don't have to push to be seen. Just be you, and the truth will come out when it's ready. And when you see someone else, someone quiet, someone different, don't judge them fast. Give them a chance. They might surprise you. They might be holding all the cards, just like Aisha. What did you think of that twist? Wasn't it wild when Marcus walked in and everything changed? Did it make you cheer? Did it make you smile? Tell me below, I want to hear. And tell me this too, have you ever seen someone surprise everyone like Aisha did? Maybe it was your cousin hitting a home run. Or your mom fixing something tricky. Or your best friend standing up for someone. Those stories are the best. They remind us people are amazing when you least expect it. This story's done, but there's more where it came from. Stick around, friends. We'll find another tale, another surprise, another hero. Maybe it'll be about a kid who saves the day. Or a dog who finds a lost toy. Who knows? That's the fun part. Life's full of twists, and I'll be here to tell them. See you next time. Let's keep it going a little more, because Aisha's story isn't just a story. It's a lesson. It's like a little light you can carry with you. When you're mad, when someone's mean, when you feel small, think of her. Think of how she stood there, head high, not letting Lisa's words knock her down. You can do that too. You don't need a big boss husband or a fancy plane. You just need you, your heart, your strength, your quiet power. Think about your day. Maybe someone cut in line at lunch. Maybe a kid laughed at your shoes. Did you yell? Did you cry? Or did you wait, like Aisha, knowing it'd be okay? Next time, try that. Take a breath. Smile. Let it go. The truth always comes out, maybe not with a big reveal like Marcus, but in little ways. People see who you are. They see the good stuff. And that's what sticks. Aisha's baby wasn't born yet in the story, but imagine that kid growing up. Imagine Aisha telling them, once, on a plane, I stayed calm, and it changed everything. That kid would listen, eyes big, and say, wow, Mom, you're cool. And Aisha would laugh and say, you can be cool too. Just be kind. That's how it works, one story, one lesson, passing down like a gift. So let's make a promise. Right here, right now. Promise to be kind even when it's hard. Promise to look twice at people, even the quiet ones. Promise to wait sometimes, instead of rushing to judge. Can you do that? I bet you can. You're strong, just like Aisha. You've got your own power, even if it's hiding right now. It'll come out when you need it. I know it will. One last thing, what's your story? What's the time you surprised someone? Or the time someone surprised you? Write it down below. Share it with me. Let's keep the surprises going. Aisha's tale is done, but yours is just starting. See you soon, friends, keep shining.